Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where I'm excited for what is coming today. We're here at the Shmuseum building my dream garage, but what we're going to see today is the next big chapter, the installation of glass here for the lounge downstairs and also for the upstairs office areas on the Grandstand. And when I say glass, this is going to be quite trick. It's not just ordinary glass. We'll get to that in a moment. But of course, we are transforming what was quite literally a milking parlour on a farm here in England. There was no concrete, it was filled with cobwebs, no proper lighting, and it's already changed in a big way. In fact, the last major updates have been the flooring. I always had this vision to bring a racetrack through the garage, to curve up through the middle between the museum side and the storage side, and this is where Cure Coatings stepped in, using the Westwood paints to literally bring this marked track through. We've got the tarmac up the centre, we've got the red and white curbing inspired by the Nürburgring, and more to come on that front as well. And in fact, over here, we've also got our Halo Bay, currently with my F1 show car, ready to burst on out. We've also recently introduced you to Shmoo the cow, our Shmee 150 mascot, but today is about what happens on this side. So we have avoided occupying this downstairs area. We've been maintaining our office desks over in the temporary gazebos until we had the glass in place, until it was enclosed. But this is no ordinary glass. This is where ESG stepped in with their switchable glass, and quite literally, your mind is probably already running down what that means. This is going to be glass that you can make either opaque or transparent at the press of a button. Think about how that's going to look when you come in from the front and you've entered in through the reception. And there's actually something I need to show you there in a moment as well. And you're in here. You're welcome to the visitor room. You can't see anything. You can't see out. You know, picture the scene. All of this is behind an opaque window right here. You have no idea what's outside. Maybe we have a new car positioned right here, something to show you, and it's all going to be at the press of a button, a magic release. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So there's a lot to happen. Let's crack on. As you can imagine, it takes a bit of time to install all of this. We've got some very big glass panels that are going to be coming in. Plus, in the centre, we're going to have a double door that opens out into the barn. Upstairs, we'll have some regular toughened glass, also from ESG. But I want to come and show you some of the progress because there have been quite a few changes here. Spot Mr. Shmoo hanging out there inside the Golf petrol pump that we have. But come on up, because a lot has happened here that we haven't actually shown you yet since the flooring. Although as we walk up, the view that you have out over there at the moment is really quite something. Lots of the cars cleaned and tidied up. So upstairs here, you'll see that we've got obviously the tracking for the glass. We've also had a lot more paint. So we've got the blue bulkhead now running across the front, up at the top. We're going to have these cutaways to give this feeling from downstairs that it's one single kind of transition all the way across. Obviously that will be multiple panels with various doors along the way, and I need to be careful not to walk on those. We've also got the suspended ceiling ready to head on in, so starting to make these feel like actual rooms, very close to occupancy up top, because once the glass is in, we've basically just got to seal them up, get all of the electrics ready, the power sockets and light switches, and then put in some carpet, and we're kind of ready to go. We've also started to put in some door frames and doors. Not quite sure why that's out of order for a little storeroom that we have around the back there with the door frames in, but this is making some mega progress. And today we're going to see the glass going in. So delivery should be here shortly, and there's plenty more that we need to get on with as well, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, if I come through from the lounge to the reception room, there's a change here. Have a look at the floor. Cure came and applied what looks like tiles, but this is in fact the darker grey that we have for the tarmac, the lighter grey that we have for the side areas, with that same chipping effect in the reception room area that we have on the tarmac out there. Of course, if you go out this way, that's where you have the red and white curbs that obviously go out into the main hall, and it creates a completely seamless look and effect. Obviously this needs to be tidied up and things, but then we'll have a floor trim down there into the carpet of the lounge. This is coming along so well. Now, of course, we need to move this out the way. So I've got my 3 manpower. I don't have any brakes, guys. We should probably stop. That's the first time I've driven an F1 car. I was steering, because of course when this arrived, we didn't have any steering hooked up. Now we do. I'm not going to get out on camera though, because it's not very dignified. No. There's a bright red light, I know when it's recording. Well, look what has arrived. The transporter bringing the various panels, which we're going to see pulled out in just a moment to start talking a little bit more through exactly what's going to be installed. In here then, we have some glass to be unloaded. That is going to be the ultimate in cool. This is a first as it happens, pulling in the Skoda Octavia VRS, our team car, making a little visit inside here at the Shmuseum. Tiny bit of turn that way, now straight. Just while we line everything up, looking pretty here in the garage for the moment. Tiny bit further back, and stop. Perfect. Looking lovely. We've now brought the glass in, and we are also joined by Russell from ESG.
Hello there.
It's good to have you here, and it's good to finally have this, because we've been talking for quite a while about
a year.
Doing this installation. It's taken me a long time, as you guys know, to do this full build process. This is not ordinary glass. I mean, even this isn't ordinary glass. This is the upstairs sections. But this stuff is really clever. You guys do all sorts of security glass, privacy glass.
Yep.
You have also, as we first met, done glass at various different supercar showrooms.
We've done Aston Martin, Bugatti, Bentley, Ferrari, so yeah.
And I've seen this in action. In fact, I remember the first time I ever saw this in action was actually at Brompton Road, HRO and Ferrari in South Kensington, where they have a handover room where things can be kept very secret.
Yes.
Depending how you set it. And that is exactly what this is. And we can actually see it right now, right? Because this is standard form, it's opaque.
That's right.
Frosted over, I'm sure there's a technical term for it.
It's opaque, it's off opaque, that's what we call it.
And this is basically going to frame our lounge, which gives us privacy benefits, because if you want to be in there and kind of off camera, if there's a camera out here, completely hidden away. It gives the wow factor. I think that's a big part of this, right, is the wow factor.
Yeah, people see it and it is that wow.
To have that moment of you hit the button and suddenly you see everything. So this is all via Martin from the Novus side, having put in all of the frames, having worked out all the measurements. This has been made to order. These are the panels, I believe, for the 3 different sections here.
Yes.
Does that include the doors?
The doors...
yeah, these feel like doors.
Yep.
These feel like doors. Yes. So we've got some big panels. Basically, the idea is to keep it as clean as possible, very big spans, and it's going to look super sharp. It's going to look so good.
I mean, we've got the option as well to play with the wow effect. So once the glass is in, within our software on the controllers, we can put a fade in there. So
we can program it.
So we can program it to gradually fade in and out, which obviously for the halo bay would work wonderfully.
So there's a bit more we haven't yet explained in terms of zoning and different things like that, and more on what you were just saying, which we will start running through a little bit later on. But I think step 1 is that we need to get all of this safely upstairs so it's ready before we can get started on installing the first panels of the switchable glass. I love it, switchable glass. We've been talking about it for so long. It's now here and it's ready to get cracking on with. Safely does it. Glass past Skoda, which has done actually a whole lot of miles in our possession. Of course, it doesn't feature so much on the Shmee 150 channel, but we use it for traveling back and forth for many different things. When we're going to different garages, when we're going to different dealers, different video shoots, whatever it might be, the whole team, Brad or Tom, whoever's driving it. So we use this an awful lot. And for the first time, it's now kind of parked inside here, just while we make everything start looking absolutely the part in the garage, of course, with the F1 car still up that away. But these are going to be quite heavy panels to lift and take upstairs. Definitely going to let the experts be in charge of that one.
They couldn't make it, so we're here.
Oh, so you're here. More of an expert than I am, for sure. Careful and steady progress, pulling the glass into the halo bay for the moment. Just move each panel to the right place, ready to go in, to literally be installed very shortly. Something is happening over here.
Yes, so although the glass is tested before it leaves the factory, it's always a wise idea just to give it another check before we install it. So we just wire it up quickly. We have a very basic transformer here, which just gives us the required power. Once we know the glass is working, we can wire it in properly, and then from there we can connect it to the high-level controllers that come with the glass as standard.
So when you flip this, that's going to make it go transparent.
Countdown?
I feel like we should.
I think we should.
3.
100. Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1. Woohoo!
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And there we go. So we can now start to install it properly.
Working as it should. Amazing. It was a long time ago that we started thinking about this. But here we are. as if by magic, first panel is slid into place. Simple and easy, just like that.
Ta-da!
In goes panel number 2, just slides along to the edge, 2 out of 3.
Russell, is the cable still free?
We've got the cables up top, and simple. Some very swift progress here. This is the 3rd panel, now the middle panel. You put into position.
Up, drop. I mean, don't drop, obviously.
Different kind of drop, lower.
Drop carefully.
Wow. Well, the halo bay is now kind of enclosed. Obviously, these need to be wired in correctly. All been tested before installing, and then obviously the final finishing touches, lifting them up slightly, finishing off between the panels. Look at that. Look at that. This is really special to see like that. Really, really special. Wowzers. Obviously some more to come here for the front. My word. This has been a long time in the making, but this is going to be the most mega thing when you press a button and you can see through to the halo space.
Whilst Tim has decided to go out on an errand, we decided to surprise him by getting a load of the non-wired glass in. As you clearly see, compared to downstairs, this is somewhat faster and will create the effect of the Grandstand in all its glory. So now progress is really being made. So hopefully when Tim comes back, he will be very, very happy.
I've been out for about an hour and a half, and in fact, we now have a few more cars here. We did have the Skoda in, we now have the GTC4 Lusso back, which has been out for a service. We also have the 812 Superfast back from Team Skookum, which has also been with Ferrari. Plus, we have our very bright pink MSRT Transit Custom back in the garage as well. And this is not far off from being a full, complete selection. The only absentee right now is my Zenvo, so we've popped the little model that we have there, the models that we made that are still available. I think a couple are still available from Zenvo, which is quite fun. That car's at the factory having some upgrades at the moment, but let's get to what we're here for. And this is the controller, which of course can go on the wall. There's more to come with this, so stay tuned for that. But just by way of a quick demonstration, if I press the button, that is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. Like, being here and looking, it's like a model car in a box, literally, just with that. But this is not all, because I never expected this would happen as quickly as it did. But I want to take you back upstairs. Obviously here we have some of the other glass panels that will be going for the downstairs area. But up here, this happened like in the blink of an eye, quite literally. I think Martin gave you a little overview. I didn't see it, but I have returned, looked up and been like, what on earth has happened so fast? Because we literally have the glass panels in place. Obviously we'll have these cutbacks behind, but this is what it will be like. This is the view from my office now. That's the view from my office. This is the dream. I feel like I'm going to get a pinch and wake up and it's not reality. That is absolutely, absolutely the dream. Like, this is building my dream garage, guys. Thank you for being part of the journey. Oh my word. Right. I guess we're going to call it a day for there, but there's more to come, more to be installed. It is the next day, continuing with the glass, this little section just here, which allows you from the lounge to see out to the workshop, which is a nice little touch as well. I think by the end of today, everything is pretty much going to be in. Obviously, we have the doors as well. Interesting in terms of the layouts and the way those work. We've got a few more panels and different things around. And then, of course, after it's all in place, is the ceiling, the closing up, the finishing, the wiring, and then showing it all in action, which is going to be really quite cool, and I can't wait for that a little bit later on. Plus, this is something that we needed to tidy up. We now have the switches here. Obviously, this will be painted, taped, and jointed, so you won't see any of that later on, but the switches for the reception room, the halo space, and the 2 switches for the main barn, all now here in the little reception room where we've got the F1 wheel as the umbrella holder. But there are going to be more things to come in here, and obviously tidying this area up as well. So all in the works in due course, but that's something we needed to get done. It's door time. How does this work?
This basically is a self-closing oleodynamic hinge. Normally, on a big door like this, we would put a hole in the floor and put in like a coffer box and a big floor spring. That's quite invasive, makes a lot of mess. This is a much simpler and easier idea to do, that all of the mechanism is contained within the hinge.
So that
will basically get fixed onto there like that. It then sits in
one of these
that's
pieces.
the one there. That will sit on the floor.
Okay.
Like that.
Yep.
And that locates itself in there. So the only thing you have to do is screw that to the floor, not drill a massive hole to put a big floor spring in. Simple.
Seems easy.
Yes.
Very easy. And then you have glass doors, because I know this is something a lot of people will have been wondering. But yes, you can have it for the doors. There is some super speedy progress here. We've got the panes of glass installed just over on this side. Then over to the other side, we have the start of the front fascia. Martin and Webbo now working on the door to get that installed. But I want to sidetrack for a moment, because one of the things I'm the most excited about is to have an enclosed space. Our first closed room downstairs is to display memorabilia. Over the years, I have collected so many things, some of which we actually have examples of right here. In fact, in the middle, we've got some of the YouTube plaques that you receive after you celebrate certain milestones. I've got some of my 4GT merch. I've got some of the model cars over there as well. And one of the things to do is a little bit funny, and that is what we have in here, which is, well, 2 boxes, 2 Manikins. You might be wondering, why on earth do I want to have Manikins here at the Shmuseum? As I pull out a torso, and what do we have next? A hand. It's to display various different race suits. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So in the 4GT luggage kit there is actually the Le Mans Sparco suit that you can add to your 4GT order, which I picked up, 4 and a bit years ago. I'm going to try and get this assembled, get it dressed up, because it's going to look pretty cool. And that's the kind of thing we can now get out, because once we've got a closed space, it's not going to be dusty anymore in here, which is going to be really quite cool. So let's see what we can do with this and work it all out. Yeah, look, this is literally the head. I bought some, that's a little bit freaky. Hopefully that can fit inside a helmet. Hopefully. We've now managed to put together a Manikin. That is, I say together, it's kind of in 2 halves, but we'll get to that because I want to show you what we've got here. The helmet and the race suit. This is actually the fitted luggage from Sparco, which matches my car. This can fit into the very small luggage space in the GT. Believe me, I have tried. Of course, we've got my chassis number, Union Jack. We've got the gold GT embroidery. We've also got the red and gold stitching to match. And I love these kind of bits of memorabilia. This is so much of what I've been looking forward to getting out here. Obviously the helmet as well. This is in the same design as that of the 2016 Le Mans year. So we've got the full race suit, gloves, the shoes. We've even got the original paddles actually in here as well from my car before we changed them to the gold ones. And I want to show you this because I don't know if this has ever actually been, actually it certainly has, but not recently been unfolded. But that is going to be worn by our Manikin with my chassis number. We went for the American flag actually on here because it's an American car, and the gold GT logos. In fact, I think this is probably the only one of these with the gold as opposed to having that normally in black, which is kind of cool. So I need to work out how to do this. This is going to be really weird, but let me see what we can do grabbing these legs. Maybe I do it upside down. No, that's a bit odd. Okay, give me a moment and we'll see where we get to. Well, that has been easier than I thought. My Manikin's legs are now wearing a 4GT race suit. So now I can kind of bolt this in here. I think this works. Goes in like that. And then screw that in, just so it stays in place for the time being. Pull that down, pull that down. Try and attach the torso. This is a little bit weird. Not something I ever thought we would be doing here on the channel, but needs must. Does this then? Might have to do the arms afterwards. No, I can do this. I can do this. Well, we got that on, and it fits really quite well, if I can say so. The next thing to try are the gloves, and these have definitely never been opened. If a kind of like part of me would have loved to have kept these all absolutely in their packaging, but that would be inappropriate, I think. We need to have this on display. So can I put a glove? Oops, I've taken his arm off. Click it back in. Can I get the glove on? No, I think the glove is a little bit too tight. We'll have to try that off. Let's try the helmet. This hopefully is going to go straight over. Let's see. Yes. Not bad, not bad. Head stayed in place. How cool is that? A little bit creepy, maybe, but not bad. Can we do the boots, the shoes? Look, these are quite nice as well. All of these things with the custom details for the car. Red with the gold lettering. I think that might be too hard, but if we could get those on, that would look really cool. This was inspired when I visited the Car Cathedral in Canada. The same week I went to see my car being built, in fact. Wow, throwback. Fast forward, we've got the shoes on, we've got the gloves on. Just took the helmet off to do this safely, because obviously the last thing I wanted to do was risk anything getting damaged with something so nice. Pop that back on him. And then, that actually works really quite well. Let me just spin it around a touch, like that. GT racing driver at the ready. I've also got a center set as well of everything matching. Yeah, mission success. We're back in action and ready for a progress update. As you can see, there is a lot going on here, and we actually have the various different pieces of glass in different states. So of course the front is being installed, the last panel is being prepared, all of the wiring ready to go in, ready to get those set. If we come round towards this side into the halo bay area, on this wall we've now had all of the panels aligned correctly. Obviously a lot of work to make sure they're completely even. We've also got the gasket in all the way around, plus they've been taped, ready to be completely sealed up between them, which is exactly, I think, what is happening over this way with Weber at the moment, just lining up the tape, ready for that part of the process. We've got the gasket over on that side also, and as you can see, obviously, the glass is currently switched off, which means when you're on the inside, very carefully does this, we have that complete privacy element, which is unreal. We also have another mannequin with my Senna suit. You might have just spotted that in the background. These will be on display somewhere. Senna suit and helmet, GT suit and helmet. Bit of fun, really, with those. And this room, I was paranoid it was going to feel quite small, perhaps, once we enclosed it. It's about 7 meters long and 5 meters wide, and it's a big old space. We're going to be moving this furniture back outside down the line. We've got some new things on the way for this space, but it starts to give a bit of a feel for what this is actually going to look like once you're sat in here, which is really quite exciting, like really exciting. We're back with Russell because we're about to be going through some of the programming side of this, but fundamentally we've now got all the glass in place and we've got two completely separate systems.
Yes, you've got the halo glass and you've got the front to the barn.
Which we're calling barn glass. So we've got barn glass, halo glass. This was already set up, that side hasn't been set up.
That's right, so we're doing that now. So yesterday when we were testing the glass, before we put it in, we used a very basic transformer to step the voltage down to power the glass.
Yep.
When it gets installed, finally, we use an intelligent controller to look after the glass. And basically, we configure the controller to the square meterage of the glass.
Okay.
Then the controller makes sure that electrically the glass is performing to its optimum levels. There's some other clever features like the glass needs to be switched off for 4 hours a day. The internal timer of the controller takes care of that. But that's all done within the software that we program specifically to this controller and this project.
Okay, and then we have settings and things that you can actually choose.
Yes, and we were talking about, well, we could look at the fade. So rather than being the instant, we can potentially fade in, fade out.
I think we probably quite like it being fairly instant, but it'd be interesting to see the different options.
Yep.
So this is where the magic of the programming has to happen. And at the same time, Martin is cracking on with doing the gaskets around the whole of the front side. Won't be that long until we have the full wow factor of the reveal here.
Very shortly.
So what needs to be done? Just press the button.
Literally, I've already put the settings in that we need for the front. So it is as simple as clicking right to the controller,
Right here.
and then the software now is flashed with the correct configuration, and we're good to go.
This is now the very last bit of the silicon, right down towards the bottom. Obviously with the glass transparent to be able to see it from both sides. Very soon we're going to have a bit of a demo of all of this. Then the magic trick to remove all of the excess. Very smooth. Jump ahead, it is demo time, and we now have our first fully enclosed livable space here at the Shmuseum. We've actually been tidying up a whole load of things. Obviously we've got the mannequins out in position. We've picked up all of the temporary sheets that we had over the floor because obviously those were just to reduce the dust while it was completely open to the barn. But now, obviously, we have all of the glass panels, ESG switchable glass. Now, there's a lot more to come in terms of operation. You have the physical switch. You also can do it through the app as well. So, for example, with the Halo space just behind me here, press the button, boom, you have the view straight through to the car that's lurking in there. For the time being, it is the F1 show car. I think the Zenvo is probably going to go in there, along with some memorabilia and some things on the walls, but we'll get to that for the time being. Just frost it back up, and it's complete privacy glass, by the way. You can't see through this from the other side. You can't even kind of go up to it and see through. It's completely opaque. Come over to here, for example, obviously on this side, we'll have the workshop just over there, and you'll be able to see straight out to there, having just come in. This is the, let's say, if I invite people round, or sponsors, partners, friends, my family, if they come here, this is where obviously we'll kind of come into. If I just close that again, this is where we have, let's call it the full wow factor, because this is what's so unbelievably extraordinary. If I do it all at once, one press of this, because you can either have them separately or together depending what you want, reveal the Shmuseum. It's so awesome. This is so awesome. The doors are hinged to go either way. They actually conveniently have a nice hold as well, whether they're opened in or opened out, which is really quite smooth and detailed. There are a few other things still just to be finished in minor presentation terms, like the control box access and that kind of thing. From outside though, obviously you see it now completely transparent, and it's all about lighting, remember. So while it's super bright out here, it's not so bright in there, depends how you see things. If I make it transparent or completely opaque again, you then have total privacy if you're having a meeting or something in there. If I want to have a meeting, sat down, chatting about stuff, we can literally close it all up. The other thing that I can do from here, which is quite clever, if I go to my switches, I can turn off the barn lighting like that. And then of course, with everything on inside there, I can then run, he says, to the right thing. This is where I'm just learning what I do as I go. Boom. How awesome is that going to be? When we've got some more memorabilia. We're going to put up the lights that you can see at the back. They're not mounted on the wall yet, but the Ferrari logo and Ford logo and stuff like that will all be up on the wall, along with a few other things. And obviously we've got the Halo Bay going on there as well. This is all like the coolest of the cool I can do with this. And I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to the smart home stuff. I've never done any smart home stuff, but I can't wait to fully reveal all of that, because it's so unbelievable what we've done. Or of course also, this could just sit, doors open, ready and raring for, you know, straight in action from this little patio area that we did when Cure Coatings did the circle almost around the front of it. This is the idea I had so long ago, and it's actually coming to fruition unbelievably quickly. This is awesome. This is so awesome. Come back on in here. Come back on into this room, the lounge. This isn't the final furniture, as I mentioned. We're going to shuffle and change things around a little bit in here. I like how quiet they are, near on silent. And then, you know, end of the day, I can from here, this will be quite fun, turn off the lights. Look at that, with the memorabilia on. And then I can turn it all off, switched off. Still got the Halo space on. I can technically, from here, I think, is it that one? There we go. It's like there's nothing out there, and that's with the glass clear. Or I can then go, and boom, we're just in a small room. So you enter straight in here from the outside. There's nothing to see. That's that. That's the ESG switchable privacy glass. Oh my goodness. My mind is blown again. This is like when we completed the racetrack. It's that moment of, this is unreal. This is absolutely unreal. We've been planning it for so long, and we're now kind of there. We're now kind of there. So thank you very much for joining this massive transformation at the Shmuseum, literally building my dream garage. But I guess that is the end for today. A big thanks again to ESG and to Russell, to Martin, to Webbo, everybody at Novus as well. Mega. Totally mega. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I appreciate it more than you could ever imagine. But that's it for this time. Stay tuned for work upstairs coming very soon. I'll see you then. Cheers.